What is up, everybody? This is Kyle the Pug here, and today we're going to be doing our sports review episode number 4. That is right. We are on Kyle the Pug Sports YouTube channel, and today, once again, it is Wednesday, so that means we are doing episode 4 of our review shows. Now, before we get started with today's show, I just got to say that we didn't do a show Monday because I had some certain personal plans to attend to, and we all know how that is, right? So that kind of threw a little kink in my schedule. But here we are on a Wednesday, making up for lost time here with episode number 4. I'm Kyle the Pug, a.k.a. Kyle Lodi. You can call me whatever. It doesn't matter. You can call me Kyle. You can call me Pug. You can do whatever, right? So we have here today, of course, the bubbling individual who claims to be an Amish Mormon. Maybe he says so, but I don't know that for sure. It's Cowboy Nick.
Be blessed to all of you, and God save the Queen.
Ooh, there we go. See, that's what. See, it's just been confirmed that Nick is now officially an Amish Mormon. Just kidding. We all love you. But anyways, let's get to today's topics, of course. Now, I didn't tell Nick the topics before the show, so this is kind of like some surprise topics we're going to talk about here. So the first one we're going to talk about is more performance-enhancing drug busts coming out from Major League Baseball. So apparently, people have not learned their lesson when they found out that D. Gordon got suspended for performance-enhancing drugs for 80 games. But it is apparently now showing up widely yet again. So we have Toronto Blue Jays' Chris Colabello and Philadelphia Phillies' Daniel Stumpf were suspended after traces of a turnable were found in their systems. The two, along with the players were players to be named, tested positive during spring training, and you have another one to add to the mix, and St. Louis Cardinals catcher Cody Stanley was suspended in September after he tested positive for the performance-enhancing drugs as well. So, Nick, this just never stops. I mean, what's going on here? What is going on in the sport of baseball?
I honestly can't tell you. It's just like, why? It's like people don't learn their lesson. It's like, come on, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, everyone should know by now. Performance-enhancing drugs are not going to help you. They're going to ruin your life in the end, and it's going to have serious problems with your career and your performance field.
All right, so moving on here really quick. So another suspension that was being made was Dodgers right-handed pitcher Josh Raven, who was also suspended for 80 games for performance-enhancing drugs, just like D. Gordon was. So, like I said, this situation is just completely out of control. And like you said, you think that performance-enhancing drugs will help you do well, but apparently they do not, because they're going to ruin your life right at the end. And basically, this is a source close to the MLB's testing program said this, and I quote, "That's what makes the most sense, and there really isn't another theory right now of what's going on here," unquote. So the updating test could also explain why the recent positive tests turned up in spring training, which kind of seems odd in anti-doping experts, but it's whatever. Players know that they'll be tested in spring training, so it's rare for a player to have anything in his system when he reports to camp, because testers found a metabolite of the drug and not the parent drug itself. They know that those players would probably use the turnable more than a week before they were tested. The players have all denied it knowingly taking the drug itself, but if their use was intentional, it would make sense that they would stop more than a week before reporting with the belief that the drug had cleared their system. So, like I said, it's just I don't know what to say right now. Do you have any thoughts on that matter?
To me, it's ridiculous to say that I didn't know that I didn't do this. Yes, you do know, because in the end, even if you did, like I say, I didn't know, you're gonna know, because just to let all you people out there know, one of the side effects in these performance-enhancing drugs is, for all you men out there, I'm gonna say this, even if all you fans out there can mad at me, it will make, for all you men out there,
here we go.
It will make a certain part of your body.
Yep, I knew that was coming.
And you know what? If you're gonna take something to make yourself better, get your muscles bigger and all this stuff, but yet it makes a certain part of your body smaller. What are you thinking of? Seriously, you can't play, you can't use your skills that your natural skills that you actually have to actually do right. You have kids out there who love you and think of you as their heroes and stuff, and yet you do this. What is your problem? I don't think you should be suspended for this many games. I think you should just have the entire year out of it to think about it.
I mean, people are just better off using adult vitamins, I swear, honestly.
Exactly. If you want to get your body, if you want to make your body's better, use vitamins and like take stuff for men, like men stuff that not the testosterone or the stuff that stuff like on other performance enhancing drugs. Take stuff that will help you, like vitamins or minerals or things that will help your body grow, your body's naturally grow. Like take natural male enhancement stuff like that, not performance enhancing drugs.
I mean, honestly, we live in a society where, of course, performance-enhancing drugs has become an actual thing in baseball, and then you actually see this more in baseball, not just football and basketball. And then basketball and football, they have their own drug testing deals, I believe. But this is mostly takes place in baseball. But why does it take place mostly in baseball, though? That's the question I'm wondering about. Why do you not see this in football and basketball? I mean, you do see it like rarely every now and then, but mostly the suspensions come from baseball.
You see it more in baseball because of the fact that a lot of the pitchers and a lot of the catchers and a lot of the outfielders take these drugs so that they can enhance their running, their catching ability, and their throwing ability. Because if you look at a lot of the pitchers and stuff, they want to make their pitchers faster, stronger, and a little bit more to this level so that they can get more players out and get more strikes. And in basketball and in football, they mostly take drugs to make them run better and things like that. But in baseball, you want the drugs to make your muscle mass better, your energy levels better, and you want something that will make it so that when you're going out playing outfield and you're going to chase down the ball, you want to be able to have more stimulant to be able to play longer and get the ball.
All right. Well, here's the thing I'm wondering about. I mean, do people ever read the warnings on the performance enhancing drugs before they even take them? I mean, that's what I'm wondering.
I don't know. I don't know if people do. If they should, you should understand what this is going to do to your body in the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think people read the description warnings when taking them. I mean, even if they want to take them, that's completely up to them. They want to ruin their life, whatever. But I wouldn't recommend doing it anyways,
Oh no. Me, I played sports and stuff like that, and I would never touch any of that stuff because that stuff will ruin you. That stuff will make your heart. There's more people who play professional baseball who did take these in the past years, like in the 80s and all that stuff, in the 70s, the 60s, and 90s, and all that stuff, who did take these drugs. And guess what? A lot of them now, they have, what's wrong with them? They have heart problems. They're taking medications because they can't breathe properly. They're taking medications because they have their blood pressure messed up. They're taking medications because of the fact that their livers are shot.
And that's the thing too, because people don't get it at times, but yet they still do it anyways. Okay. And this is what our problem is in today's sports world. I mean, back then you rarely even saw performance enhancing drugs, but now here we are in 2016, and maybe a few years back, you see more of it being used time and time and time and time again, where it's just starting to get old now.
Yeah, and look at this, and I don't know if you saw this, but I know a lot of you fans probably saw this in the latest Chicago Cubs and Pirates game, where what's his name from the Chicago Cubs went into the locker room, and everyone could tell that he was on a performance enhancing drug, and he went basically at Mike Tyson, where the stuff where the place where they keep the water that you use to drink to keep yourself hydrated.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just with the performance-enhancing drugs in baseball. It's getting ridiculous, and somebody's got to.
It's getting to the point where it's like it's like baseball's not even becoming a sport that it was anymore. Now people are just getting and everything, and you're looking at this, it's just ruining the sport.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, so we got to move on here since I'm kind of tired of talking about performance-enhancing drugs. The thought of it just kind of makes me sick to my stomach. So there's a little thing on LeBron James here, and it's like a little. I guess it's like a story. It's not really like a news thing, but it's more of a story. So, as what it says is that LeBron James' outraged response to the horrific shooting of an infant in Cleveland suggested the game's biggest star might become its loudest activist, and then he went silent. So why is the question, you may ask? So basically, I'm going to read a little bit here just to actually give you an idea of what's going on. Charles Wakefield buckled his 5-month-old daughter, Aviel, I believe, into his Oldsmobile, tightened the straps on her new car seat, and double-checked the infant's safety locks. His girlfriend climbed into the driver's seat, and Charles kissed her goodbye before stepping back from the car. And of course, be safe, blah, 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 whatever, and, tomorrow will be, whatever. So it was the first day of October and also nearly the beginning of the NBA season, his favorite time of the year. And basically, the Cavaliers have been preferred distraction from the blight of the east of Cleveland. And this year, he coveted escape more than ever. So the past month has been the city's most violent in recent history, with 19 people shot dead, including several shootings near Charles' house. He had grieved for 3 friends and 2 neighborhood toddlers caught up in a deadly crossfire. And each time he had pushed Aviel and her stroller to their memorials. It's basically, he's got to keep, her daughter safe. So basically, what we're looking at here is that in the first few hours of October 1st, one voice in Cleveland resonated the loudest of them all. And basically, LeBron James was one person in the city who remained equally popular politicians, big corporations, and residents on the Lower East Side of the Cleveland area. For more than a decade, he had moderated his political voice, unusually speaking in universalities, but on this night he had heard about Aviel, and then he reacted on social media with raw indignation. So, and then this is what he put on Twitter, and I quote, like, seriously, man, exclamation point at least 4 times. A baby shot in the chest in Cleveland. It's been out of control. It's been really OOC, and you all need to chill the F out, unquote. And then 3 minutes later, come on, man, let's do and be better. This can't be the only way, unquote. So basically, what you're looking at here is LeBron James not just focuses on basketball, but he wants to focus on what's going on in the city of Cleveland. I mean, what do you think about all this?
I like that. I really do. But the fact is when you have a city like Cleveland, Cleveland does have its problems. Cleveland is one of those cities where, oh yeah, you can go. It's not Detroit, but you can go into it.
I mean, Cleveland, Akron, Cleveland, cities like in Ohio, they're pretty bad though, but not as bad as Detroit.
No, it's not Detroit. But the fact is that it still has the problems. It still have things like that. And yeah, LeBron, good for you. Trying to make your city better, trying to make the people of your city better, and trying to do things like that. But buddy, right now, you concentrate on it. You concentrate on Atlanta, getting the victory against Atlanta, and continuing on in your Eastern Conference semifinal and trying to get that. Speaking of semifinals, what happened last night in those 2 games? I'm going to say this: both the Raptors
and of course, this is Cowboy Nick going off topic.
And what happened with the Raptors and the Trailblazers were teams that basically got on. They lost their discipline. And speaking of basically with this though, the one game that the Golden State Warriors Trailblazers game, that was a good one. But if you look at the Miami versus Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors were home. They had the advantage. They had the ability to win, but they did not use it. They did not use the discipline that they had in this game to make a victory come out of this. They did not handle the ball as well as they should have, done, and hopefully they learned by the second game that we have to play. and they did not do what they should have been able to do in this game. Their fan base was beautiful. They had beautiful pictures up there wanting to win it. And cameras and everything showing these fans, these working fans of Toronto. But Toronto failed them and did not show the discipline and the grace that they should have done. And they failed.
You want to know who also didn't show the discipline for like the majority of the game until the very end? Golden State.
Golden State did do that.
But they did right at the end of the game, which kind of made Golden State fans just a little bit nervous.
It's not just nervous, but they did. If you look back to as well, they did do an interview with one of the fans, and one of the fans who were there stated that her husband stated they were there because she has cancer, but she really loves this team, and she really loves to watch them, and so they came to the game to watch it for her, and she made the comment that she was so upset that the discipline of Golden State was not there in this game, and she asked the reporter, why is it that Curry can't come back?
Well, like I said, with Steph Curry, I mean, especially when the Warriors play as a team, and they actually are pretty fun to watch. But imagine, like I said, if Steph Curry comes back, you know, like let's say like a week, maybe a little bit more or so around, then it's going to make the team even better.
It will. But the fact is, right now, their discipline is not there, and the discipline of that team needs to be.
I mean, well, it was there at the end of the game, and as I mentioned before, it did make the fans, you know, a little, you know, I wouldn't say timid, but it made them like a little more nervous and intimidated is probably the correct words I should say. But either way, they came back. They're up 2-0. Now they're going up north to Portland, where they're going to be playing the next 2 games over there.
Yes, and Toronto now is going to have their second game coming up for the series. But the fact is, Toronto needs to learn how to have discipline, because they had in the entire game they weren't handling the ball right. They were fouling way too much. They weren't doing what they should be doing to have a good game, and they screwed themselves completely, causing Miami to get the win. And I'd say this as a basketball fan: when you lose your discipline and you don't do what is right, and that is what makes your fans really upset. And to make your fans upset, that's not what you want.
Well, it's not just that though, but think about all the fans, you know, who supported them for a long time. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they might start jumping on the bandwagon for another team that's doing a little bit better.
And speaking of that, last night, they actually gave one of the fans an award for being one of the top fans. The top fan was an Indian guy who was out there and wearing his turban and everything like that. They showed him 4 different times on the camera that they would pan around and he would lift his shirt up, and the first time he lifts his shirt up, and underneath his shirt it says, "Yes, I am single and I am looking." Raptors go. Second time,
God, that guy's desperate.
Second time they showed him, he was taking a rag and he was spinning it around and screaming at the Miami, saying that you don't belong here. This is our town. 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 And the final time they showed him, he lifted up his jersey once again, and he beat his chest like a gorilla. Then flipped off the coach of the Miami.
Honestly, this is what our society has become.
Yes.
People who want to get on TV and social media. And then Albert Einstein once said, with the technology of today's generation, it's gonna become full of idiots. And look what the technology has made us. They're making us a bunch of idiots because we use all this, you know, social media stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes, and also the fact is too, this guy was an Indian, like from the country of India. And when you look at that and see a person of that kind of heritage doing that, you don't see them doing that very often.
Like I said, there are fans out there, are dedicated fans, and then there's fans who kind of take it, you know, over the edge and kind of take it a bit too seriously, for that matter.
Correct.
But
I think this is one of those me, when I saw this, all I could think to myself was, what has happened in this team? What is going on? The team is doing so well with themselves, and what is going on with Toronto? Why is Toronto losing the advantage which they did have?
All right, so moving on here to, of course, our final topic here. We're going to get into the NHL segment of the show, where Cowboy is going to be talking about the hottest NHL topics and what's going on with the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, Cowboy, why don't you take it away, buddy?
All right, so let's go ahead and get into we're going to go ahead with the AHL and the ECHL already basically finished. We're going into what happened last night with the NHL and how this is going. With the fact that once again in this game, and it's looking pretty well as we look at this as well. The Lightning and the Islanders had a game again, and the Lightning beat the Islanders by 1 point in final overtime, 5-4, and it's basically coming down to the wire as these games are going to the second round, Eastern Conference second round, third game. Lightning beat this 2-1 against the Islanders. So the Islanders have one game that they have won, and the Lightning have won 2 of them. So the Lightning are leading and dominating this series and really controlling this series for how this is going. And as we go into the Western Conference second round, third game, the Sharks lost last night to the Predators 4-1. Like that, but the Predators won the game. The Predators were told by their coach, unquote, as it says right here in the statement, they were told by their coach that the Predators head coach and manager did in the locker room before the game say, unquote, that if you guys do not win this game and give us at least one win, all the guys who are playing on this team this year will not see Nashville next year. So basically, they were told that they had to win or they would lose their jobs. And as it's going,
that sounds so stupid.
Stars, we have the Dallas Stars who were in Missouri last night playing against the St. Louis Blues, and the St. Louis Blues now have a 2-1 lead over the Stars. So it does look like St. Louis with their baseball team not doing as well as they should, the hockey team may be the one to bring a smile to the city. And you kind of have to say this, even though you may not be a hockey fan or anything like that. You have to give respect to the St. Louis Blues for the fact that they are keeping a 2-1 lead in the series against a team like Dallas. So you have to keep that going. Those are the games from last night. And tonight here we will be having another good game on NBC Sportsnet. We will be having Game 4 of the Eastern Conference second round, as we will be having a team that everyone, whether or not you watch hockey or not, you should appreciate this team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, playing against the Washington Capitals, as we will be having Kenny Malkin coming in with a 9-point lead. The Horde Quest coming in with a 4-goal advantage over Washington, and Bonio coming in with 8 assists in this one to help to have a little bit of an advantage for the Penguins. Washington will come in as well with Jay Carlos with 9 points. And then you have Moltke coming in with a 4-goal average in his last games. And Backstorm coming in with a 6 assist ability. So both these teams in this game will be at 8 p.m. Eastern. Both these teams are strong teams in this series, and I give respect to both these teams, but I'm hoping Pittsburgh does walk away with a victory because I think to myself, Pittsburgh does deserve this win, and Pittsburgh does deserve to beat the Capitals. The Capitals, a team who got in by chance, not by skill. I'm Cowboy Nick. Back to the top.
Oh, so did you actually talk about for today's matchups? But of course, when you have, of course, the Penguins at home, with their game as well. So, who's your pick for that matchup?
I have to go with the Penguins and my top player of the game. It has to go to a giddy moment.
All right. So basically, what we're looking at here is, this. I think that's the only game that's tonight, right?
That is the only game tonight. Yes.
So, and the Penguins are up 2-1 and against the Capitals, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're looking at, of course. I mean, it's possible for them the Capitals to tie it up against the Penguins, but like I said, I just don't really see that happening, honestly.
Right.
So, I mean, that being said, I mean, it should be an interesting little series, and hopefully the Sharks can do what they can do to, take and this is locally too. So basically what the Sharks have to do on the road is at least take at least one in Nashville, so that way they can have somewhat an advantage being up 3-1 against the Predators, and the next 2 out of 3 games are going to be at home. So we got a lot to look forward to in the Stanley Cup. At least you are, but looking forward to that. But, I mean, like I said, for all the hockey fans out there, you got some things to look forward to in the Stanley Cup playoffs as well. So, thank you very much, Cowboy Nick, for that lovely, lovely insight on the hockey regimen of things. And we're probably going to be out of here with today's show. And like I said, thank you guys so much for joining us on this sports review show, episode number 4. And we'll probably see you guys on Friday, probably the same time, maybe a little earlier, who knows. But anyways, I'm Kyle Pug, aka Kyle Lodi. That's Cowboy Nick.
And before we go out, I'm just going to say this. Why don't we just say this is show 3 and 4 because the last show we did was show 2. So we might as well make this 3 yet.
Well, hold on. Let me just check something really, really quick. It probably won't take very long, honestly. Let's go to, of course, if you want to find us, go to youtube.com/pugname Kyle for that matter. So let's take a look here. It's still a small channel, but we're still growing. We're trying to make videos every now and then. So basically, okay, scrub everything I said from like early on. This is episode number 3, not episode 4. I apologize for that if I messed that up. But anyways, yeah, this was basically episode 3. So if I said episode 4 back in the beginning, I apologize. I apologize. Yes, I'll probably edit that in the video somehow. I'll just like put like a little ad in the description below. No, it's episode number 3. It's episode 3. But anyways, so I'm Kyle Puggy, Kyle Lodi. That's of course Cowboy Nick.
Hey, yeehaw!
And we'll see you guys on Friday for the real episode number 4. Like I said, I apologize. Have a good day, and as always, stay safe.